The conceit of the story is about a couple that's been together since they were 18, you know, first love, first kiss, first all that stuff. And just as Dan's character is about to propose to Rebecca's character, Morgan's character, who is the best friend of the couple, says, "You guys have been so boring. You should fuck around a little bit before you go get serious forever." And then the movie happens. I just ruined the first 10 minutes. Oops. You know, at the time I started writing it, I just started having this conversation a lot with friends of mine who are all in committed relationships and like really loved the person, but also realized that we were all like about 30 and like, how is this supposed to last forever? And we're children of divorce, and you know, we know what statistics look like, and it's very scary. And yet there's something really romantic about being in that relationship and really being in love and committing to the idea. So it was all about that. It was just figuring out, you know, how can you responsibly love someone and say that you're going to live up to that promise.
Well, Brian introduced me to a thing called Savage Love Podcast, which if you haven't listened to it is amazing, and you should check it out. But it really is, it's one of the most sort of eye-opening things I think anybody's ever given to me, book or, you know, movie or anything. It was just like, oh wow, it's like a sort of window onto a whole, you know, myriad of planets, sexual and otherwise, that people live on. And so Brian introduced me to different sexual planets. There you go.
That's the pull quote.
There you go. That's on the poster. Travel to a different sexual planet with Brian Craner.
Sexual planet. Yes. Yeah. Well, I've known Brian since I was about 20 and he was 19, 18, something like that, and we've been very good friends, and we've been trying to find something to work on for a long time. And I suppose what fascinated me about it was the, you know, in a increasingly, one hopes, one touch wood society where whatever configuration of family you want to make is the one that's right for you, then how do you navigate that and how do you work it out? And the question of sort of female agency within relationships, I think, is something that I found really well mined in the script, because it's really what the film's about is how do you think about whether a relationship is entirely right for you if everything is basically fine, and you're frightened of failing if you decide to look for something else. You know, because I think there's so much success or failure put on, especially women actually, and the notion of relationships and marriage and when you have a baby and is all sort of quantified in this way of these are markers and successes that you get to at certain points in your life. And I think this is a very grown-up exploration of all of the options, monogamy and non-monogamy and everything in between.
What drew me to the script generally was just the question of like dealing with whether or not to have a child. Like I've known many people who've lost relationships because one partner wanted to have a kid and one partner didn't. And it's one of the saddest things I can think of, because you can have two people who are completely in love and they want this one thing and not the other, and they lose each other for that reason. So that's sort of, that's sort of my way into that. But as far as working with Hall, I mean, she's great. I really like her. That's why I married her. She's also super good at acting. Would you say she's your
favorite cast member?
Yeah. No, I definitely. Well, yep. No.